Hi, it's the Last Lady of Sleaze. The Last Lady of Song, coming to you from lovely Florida. And I am going to do this interview with a lovely, lovely woman who's a great singer, Madeline Morgan. She's from Chicago, and she's great. And I met Madeline on a couple of the Zoom piano bar things. I really didn't know her, even though we knew people together in Chicago. And I keep saying to everybody, when I grow up, I want to sing like her. It's true. Hello, Madeline.
Hello, Marta. How are you?
I'm pretty good now. Had a little problem with this Zoomy bullshit, but other than that. So, Madeline sings jazz, basically, and good jazz, and old kind of singing instead of doo-dying around like some of these new girls, boo 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 boo, bah, bah, bah. They don't even know what real scat is, if you want to know the truth. But but you didn't do that all your life. You were singing in choirs and stuff, right?
Well, I didn't do. Um, so I sang. I've been singing all my life,
Okay.
and whatever kind I was doing, I was doing it. I never went out to sing professionally. I didn't get into a choir until. Well, I tried to do choir in high school, so I did girls' chorus. And that was it. And then I didn't do any choirs after that until I got into about 92, 89, something like that. Then I got into a church choir, and that's when I started going into choirs. But after before that, no, I wasn't doing it. I have a sister. I had five sisters, and we each had our little separate little area to work on. And so I have a sister that's in music. So I not music. You know what I'm saying? So I was doing other things.
Well, you were brought up in Chicago, right?
Yep, Chicago.
But you had a musical family besides your sister.
Right. Oh yeah, I had a very musical family. Yes, yes, yes.
And what did they do?
Well, everybody in my mother's generation played piano, and my grandfather played piano, and my aunt, she was a professional musician. She played around Chicago. She went on the circuit, and she was just, and she was an excellent pianist. And so she picked another sister to be the musician in the family, though. And so that's how that happened. But it wasn't a thing about music, being a focus, because there were so many things to be focused on that I couldn't focus on music.
What was your aunt's name?
Ruth Skinner.
I think I've heard of her.
Yeah, and she had a lot of names. She was married to Little Sax for a little bit. She had like six or seven husbands. But if you know Little Sax,
Join the crew.
yeah, we can sing "Those Were the Days" if we want to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not anymore.
So yeah, and I have a picture of her over here on the wall if you want to see her.
Sure. You have to
Okay,
get up?
I can get up. I know how to get up. That's easy.
Oh, that's good. While she's gone, I have a great sponsor for everybody tonight. It's Rediscovered Handbags, and we'll talk about it a little bit later.
Woo. Okay.
Okay, let's see.
So
Oh,
this is
wow.
Ruth. So you see, she's got that professional photo.
Of course.
Yeah.
Who doesn't?
And then this is a group she played with. I don't know who they are,
Let me see. Wait, I'm going to do this. Keep it. I'm
but
gonna
she
keep.
oh, she did play regularly in Chicago with a guy named Smitty.
Okay.
I know
This looks like it was like in the 40s, early 50s, maybe.
it could have been before that because she was born in 14.
Oh. Well, she looks great.
She was born in 1914. Yeah, so And the thing is that they wanted some band wanted to take her on the road when she was 14 years old because she was that good a player. But my grandmother said no, she couldn't go. And so she had to hang around Chicago till she got a little older.
I understand that. I
Oh
really
yeah,
do.
life on the road is no picnic.
Well, even just go when you're still living at home and you're booked into like what they call kind of a icky club, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
I was
yeah.
with this piano player who was in the army. We lived near to Fort Sheridan, and we
Mhm.
became friends. And I'd go up there, and uh, he was a great player. He sounded like Oscar Peterson, and he
Mm.
sang. So he said, "I got us a gig, and it was in. I lived in Highland Park, and this was in Highwood, across the tracks, and that was like." They were throwing people under the trains and stuff, you know, at the Panther Lounge. And I was maybe, you know, and my mother said, "No, you don't." Nope. So I get it. And I understand that. But she was pretty. She was very pretty. And okay, so that was your aunt, and she took your sister basically, who's older.
No, she's younger.
Ah, okay. And she made her the singer, kind of
No,
like.
well, yeah, she made her she got that sister got a degree in music, and she did sing around Chicago for a little bit, but then she went back to school and she got another degree to be a teacher, to get into education.
Oh, that's
That's
cool.
what she did. Yeah.
Don't give up your day job, kind of thing. You know. Really, that's the thing today. Don't give up your day job.
Don't give up any job
Yeah, really.
today.
So, all right. So you had four siblings, correct?
I had five
Five.
sisters.
Five. Oh God, your poor mother.
My mother, oh, don't get me started there. But anyway, we would sing together. We would perform together to the records we would put on. We would just, we had a lot of fun doing that. And we were all named MM because my mother wanted our names to look good on a marquee. That's how focused, we were centered around the entertainment thingy.
Did your dad have a job? I mean, did he work? Work?
Yeah,
Is
he
that?
worked at the telephone company.
Oh, that probably was a pretty good job in those days. I don't know about now because it's all electronic, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
they had, things to do. I mean, you remember the old bell thing.
Oh, yeah.
You can't get another phone because you're going to be put in jail if you buy a phone and hook it up, that kind of thing. No, you weren't because I did it. Anyway, I did it. So your mom's kind of was like not a stage mother, but kind of initially.
No, no, she wasn't a stage mother. No, they wanted us. They thought maybe the four oldest of us would get together and form a singing group, but we just were not going to cooperate with that. They gave up in frustration. I said,
Yeah,
"Oh,
I
forget
bet.
it. Yeah, that's not happening."
Because all the trios, the sisters and brothers that sing together, always sound great because they're sisters and brothers.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? They have the same kind of tenor.
Oh yeah.
The Andrews sisters and what was the one in the 50s? I can't remember their name. McGuire's, the McGuires. They all sound. Even the Jonas Brothers, when they sang together, they kind
Mm.
of sounded. They were good together.
Yeah.
Because I love harmony. I don't know if you do or not.
Well, I'm not good at harmony, so no, I don't love it. I can hear it, but I
You
can't
can't
do it
sing
too
it,
well.
really?
Not too well. Maybe I've got the hang of it by now, but I don't want to bet my life on it or anything.
Well, you hear the changes. You could probably do it if you tried. You
Yeah, but
know.
well, I try. You know what I'm saying?
I remember there's a gal I know. She was singing. I won't mention any names.
Good.
She passed away, unfortunately. But she was a cute little singer, and she sang all different kind of songs. And we were really good friends. And she had big feet for being a little tiny girl. And she would borrow my shoes because we glittered up everywhere we went. And I said to her something about harmonizing one night, and she says, I can't do it. I said, you're kidding. She says, no, I have to sing the line, and that's it. I can't harmonize. And I thought, really? I hear all the, I don't know if my notes are on the right, at my age.
Yeah, yeah,
I have trouble getting up, up to
yeah,
four. But, I hear the harmony. Okay, so now, we got you when you're a kid,
yeah.
and your sisters began singing, and she's young. Are you the oldest?
Well, my oldest is made her transition, so now I'm the head of the
I
family.
see,
Ha ha
I
ha
see.
ha
Ha, ha,
ha.
ha. Well, that's okay. I'm the oldest one, too. My sister said, you look like a little old lady. I said, well, I am. What are you going to do? you know? It is what it is. You
It
see
is
what
what
you
it
see.
is. You got to make the best of it.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so you're in Chicago,
hmm
and you're really not singing for a living or anything.
No, I'm not singing for a living now.
You're
I'm,
gonna.
I'm trying to. You know what I'm saying? Fingers
you're,
crossed. But
you're gonna. I'll tell you later. I talked to that person. So,
okay.
okay. It's hard to believe because I never really worked a lot, but I worked and I hacked around. I'm a clubby, and I knew I'd never met you.
Right.
And through the years, I may not know them, but I know who is who and who has worked with who here and there,
Mm.
And because I'm old, but I didn't move downtown till I was, I don't know, how old was I? 40
12.
No, I lived out in the burbs till I was like 50 or something. I mean,
Oh,
then I
okay.
moved downtown. It was a whole different deal than living out in the burbs. But okay, so now you're out of school. You're not going to do a quartet.
It
So
took
what?
me 8 years to graduate undergrad.
Really?
So yeah, yeah, yeah. I transferred a lot, and then I worked part time and went to school part time. So it took me a while to graduate from undergrad. And I didn't, the biggest mistake I made was graduating because then you had to pay your student loans.
Ooh. I see. And where did you go? Where'd you go to school?
U of I. U of I is where I graduated.
And you were in Chicago though, that
Yeah,
campus. Yeah.
yeah.
And what was your major?
Biology.
Oh, cool. A singer should always know biology.
Well, I wasn't the singer, I was the
Yeah, I
scientist.
know, but you're a singer now. Because you said you don't read music, right?
Oh gosh, no. I mean, so I always wanted to play the piano, and we had a piano when I was growing up, and we had, like I said, my mother, my grandfather, they all played the piano. So I would pull out some sheet music, and I would go, "Every good boy does fine," and then I'd press that one, and then the next note, "Every good boy does all kinds of grass," and I learned to play some songs. If they would play it for me so I could hear how it goes, the time and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And then I would play. So I learned Claire de Lune and what is that other thing? It was classical music. The thing I like, the Largo from the New World Symphony. I really like that one. And the Moonlight Sonata.
Oh,
Those
okay.
That's what I learned. And yeah, Claire de Lune. That's what I learned.
It's funny because when I was in grammar school, our neighbor had a piano, and she would let me come and play when they weren't there. And I can read a little. I mean,
hmm
I'm not a player, but I picked up Bumble Boogie.
Whoa! Whoa!
And I could do it,
Yeah, yeah.
real slow. And do it was a lot of fun, I read enough to know where to start and what it was, and I have a good ear.
Yeah.
So, but it's a tough piece. But I thought I actually had that music until I moved to Florida. I got rid
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
I had a bunch of music. I got rid of it when we moved.
We used to beg my aunt to play that.
It's a great
I
thing.
love it. Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
gotta tell you, there's a guy online called Dr. K, and he's English, and he plays boogie woogie,
Ah.
and he broadcasts from a train station in London through Facebook. Now I read up on him. First of all, he's a great player. His hands are like steel, and if he went to go choke you, he could choke you in about 3 seconds. That's how his hands are from playing. He started classical. He became a professor teaching music. He's very well
Mhm.
taught, and he taught and he did, and he wrote. Then he liked boogie, and he wrote a bunch of books about boogie woogie, and I love it because there will be young people that come in there that have never heard boogie woogie,
Yeah. Well.
and he plays it good, number one, or they think they can play it, so they'll sit. Well, they'll sit down at the piano and they'll start playing. He'll go over and start playing right hand with them. It's a really amusing, neat Facebook
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Dr. K is his name, and
Okay.
he's
I'll see if I can remember that.
Dr. K. Think of Kellogg,
Okay.
Kellogg's Rice Krispies or something, because he plays classical too. There are some young ones that come in with the music, that are just teaching
Yeah.
training,
Yeah.
and he gets down, and he plays the whole piece. I mean, it's fabulous. So, heads up, everybody! It's fun to listen to him, because Hazel Scott was the best.
Oh.
She was really good.
Yeah.
He's just as good, trust me. I don't know if he could do two pianos at one time, though. I don't know about that. Okay, so we graduated college,
Mhm.
and did we have a boyfriend?
No. No.
No. What type of
No.
no? Come
No.
again.
No. 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 I have a tendency to say what I think, and I have a tendency not to accept people who think that I have limited abilities. And and if somebody says to me, "Oh, I know how to do that," and I already know how to do that, it's not, and so I'm not the kind of person who feeds or who at that point would feed a male ego anything. If you didn't have it, you didn't get it. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds like a song. If you didn't have it, you never got it. Doesn't it?
I have friends, but you know, somebody, okay, so I had a body, I had a body. They would look at the body, and that's what they wanted. You know what I'm saying? Leave me alone, shut up. You know.
You have a hand. And get, and get a liver box. Get a liver box. That'll help you.
I'm just saying that, if you can't respect the whole person, if I have to, push down on who I am, then I'm not going to do that.
Hey, you know what? Even though I've been married a bunch of times, I get it. And truthfully, I was not promiscuous, especially when I moved downtown. You
Hmm.
know, all the, as we used to call them, koozies on Rush Street. I wasn't going to do that. But I'm not, no more about me. Now it's about you. Okay, so you got a job after that.
No, did I? I don't know.
Did you
I've
still,
never, I don't think okay, I haven't had a job that lasted me longer than 3 years in my life, I don't think.
what, did you still live at home?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. Um, I, that part is not, it's not important to me. I don't know. It wasn't, I was doing what I wanted to do. I'm a cash person, I no debt. And so, if I can afford it, I'll do it, and I'll pay my bills, I'll have my place, and, leave me alone. That's, I don't know. I don't understand. My friends never understood me, but they're very wonderful people, and they help me out when they think I need help, and a lot of times they're right.
And and you accept it because you'd give somebody else help, I'm sure.
I accept it because they seem to think it's really important that I accept it most of the time.
Well, if it's
Yeah.
monetary, you kind of have to. It's like I was in the same thing you were, where I left home at 18, and I lived here and lived there, and blah blah blah. And sometimes I needed a little bit of help, whether it was from my aunt or a person, and they meant they meant it. It wasn't like just
Oh yeah,
you
I
know,
understand. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I got friends like that, but like when I was leaving one location and I didn't have a place that I wanted to go, I said, I'll just live in the car. You know, I'll live, I'll camp. I camp. Wait a minute, I camp. I can camp. I'll go
Okay.
to the campground, and I will live there. It's no big thing, but oh no, you can't do that. That kind of thing. Those are the kind of friends I have. You know.
Yeah. Well, I don't. The
This
ones
is
I've
what I'm
been
saying.
with. Well, hey, if you think you're safe, I don't know about today to be safe right now in this day and age. That's the thing. I don't know, but hey, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that as long as you're comfortable. Who cares?
Right, but
You,
but
you know what I
but
mean?
that's not something they could accept because it's such a foreign concept. There are people who like to live to go to hotels and motels. And my first husband, we camped across the country, you know, and that's when I got into camping. And so,
And who did I know your first husband?
no, you didn't know him.
Did I know your second husband?
Yeah, you knew my
Yeah.
second husband. He didn't like to camp either.
So, how long were you married for the first time?
I think about a year, maybe a year and a half. Like I said, it's not it's
I
not
love it.
long. No, no. That was special circumstances, and
Well, you think you know somebody sometimes until you really live with them.
well, I think that you think that you're a grown up person and you should be able to do what you want to do. And if you, I mean, I'm looking at myself now with this COVID, which has left me a lot of time alone to think. And I realize how many things I didn't understand about getting along with other people, you know? And so when you're in your 20s, you don't even think other people, you don't think about them, you know? And it takes a while for you to even start to think about them.
Plus, you
And
think you know everything.
right, right, that's what I mean. You
And
think you know everything.
especially when you're away from I mean, I told you I left when I was 18, so I thought I knew everything, and as life progressed I realized I didn't. And that's now I call it wisdom at our age. And because you tell young people that then they look at you like you're an old lady crazy, and
Yeah,
that's okay, because
yeah.
I don't know if I ever did that or not.
But it's interesting how you think you're supposed to be married in your 20s and you think you're supposed to do this and it's supposed to happen that way. And life will just throw you a curveball every minute you think that until you learn that that's not true,
That's true.
you know.
That's real true. Because how old are you, Madeline?
What?
How old are you?
Well, I'll tell you what I tell most people. My mother was 28 years old after all of us were older than 28.
Was that a riddle?
No, I'm just saying I lie about my age.
Okay. I don't. I don't.
I do.
All
Yeah,
right.
I do. So I can be,
Okay.
when my daughter was like 5 and she wanted to know how old I was, I told her I was 12 because that was 2 digits and that was big for her. You know
Okay.
what I'm
I got
saying?
The only reason I said that is in like my time in the 50s when I was young. That's how life was. You grew up and you got married and you became a housewife. Although my mother always had a business, and my
Hmm.
grandmother
Always
who
had a business.
had a business. She had a business in the 30s.
Hmm.
She made hats and what do they call that? Whatever. A milliner.
Military.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And that's kind of was our generation. And of course, it's in your head, even though you don't do it, but you kind of do it. You know what I mean? Where you think you gotta maybe have a mate, but you don't. I mean, I know what you're talking about. I really do.
Well, it's not that I didn't want one. I couldn't find one that I could mate. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
That
I do.
would that would be allow me to be as much of me as I wanted to be without their feelings getting hurt because I didn't do what they thought. Because it's a two-way street when you're in a relationship. There are the expectations that person has about the role you're supposed to play.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
that
Exactly.
it's not just what you expect. You know.
Exactly. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Somebody asked me if I was going to get married again. I said, yeah, if he's on his deathbed, really old, has a lot of money, and no children, I'll get married.
Like that's gonna happen, right?
Yeah, whatever. you know. So, all right. So you were married the first time. Where'd you meet him?
At my sister's wedding.
Oh. Well, you know, you learn with each marriage. Am I not correct?
You are correct.
You do. I
You
mean,
learn things. They're not the same things. You learn different things, you
yeah,
know?
you do. Oh, you do. You
Yeah.
definitely do. Um, Again, they're gonna call me the Black Widow. I got one more to go, and that's it. Bye bye. Exes, you know. But okay, so then you got married. So you worked on and off at different things.
Hmm.
Um, you couldn't have. Were you a biologist? From you?
No, I couldn't figure out how I could get a job as a biologist without, trying. I couldn't figure out how to do that. I just couldn't figure it out. But I eventually went to a dental school, and
Oh,
so I became a dentist.
really?
I couldn't figure out how to make money as a dentist, though, so I stopped doing that.
I tell you what, get back in the business and come to West
No,
Palm Beach here, and you'll
no,
make plenty of money.
no, I'm not
Trust
getting
me.
back in that business.
Oh man, dentists and veterinarians are the biggest con artists in the whole world.
Well, maybe that's why I'm not in it.
I mean, they charge, it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous.
But
And
you
I
know
know
what?
you got to have schooling and all that bullshit.
No, the
But,
thing is, I learned by being a business owner that because when I grew up, I would say things like that, and but being a business owner, you have to you have to see the thing that I this is what I didn't get I didn't like is that you had to act like you were prosperous. So you had to drive a car that told people that you were prosperous. You had to dress like you were prosperous. You had to go places like people who were prosperous. And that didn't make sense to me. I had to buy, like I said, what I thought was reasonable for me to pay for. If I had to stay home, I had to stay home. If I liked the clothes I was wearing or wanted to make my own clothes, that's what I wanted to do. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't be, I was never a socialite kind of person. And that's what you need to do to build a practice. And you know,
yeah, I do know. Um,
and
I've,
then you had to price your stuff. Okay, so this is what I know about dentistry. Okay, I was a dental assistant before I went to dental school, and when I was a dental assistant, insurance companies just started paying for dental work. Before insurance companies got involved, a dentist could charge whatever he wanted for whatever procedure. So if you didn't have money to pay for your dentistry, he wouldn't have to charge you so much because when his wealthier patients would come in, he could charge them more to make up for the difference. Insurance companies said that was unfair to them. So you had to have a set fee schedule and charge everybody the same price.
that's interesting.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. The whole thing, and so that's why, you know, you say these people are raking it in, but that's why they have to do what everybody else is doing, or else the people will think that they're not Good. You have to charge what they're charging, or people don't think you're doing a good enough job.
I disagree to a point now, right now, with dentists because they are outrageous.
You think that?
Oh
Listen,
yeah.
I used to do one surface filling for $30.
Hmm.
Now it's like
I
$250.
know. I know.
I think it's ridiculous, but you can't you have to meet see, because insurance is there, people will charge more because they want to get more money out of the insurance company. But because you charge more from the insurance company, then everybody else raises their rates. And because they raise their rates, the insurance company says, well, I'm going to do 20% or 50% of your bill. You raise the price, they raise the price, everything goes up. And that's,
Yeah, because but we're I'm not, but we're paying for insurance.
I
You know,
know, I
that's
know.
the thing. We're paying for it. Anyhow, veterinarians too. Trust me, and I've been amongst veterinarians for years.
Well, more vets are getting under corporations now and are not independent
You
anymore.
got that, and
And
it's
that's one
terrible.
of the things that I know. My dog's pills used to be $14. Now they're 37.
Not even that. When they get shots,
Mm-hmm.
if they're really tiny, they shouldn't get as much vaccine, just like us. Okay? And these companies say do the same. You got to do
Right,
exactly the
right,
same.
right.
You can kill a little dog with too much vaccine, just like you can kill a child, with too much vaccine. They tell them you got to do this and you got to do that.
Well,
And
that's what happened to the music business too, isn't it? The corporation said you got to do this and you got to do that. So now let's get back to music.
okay. I have a dentist who's a piece of shit. He does.
Get rid of him, find another.
Right. Okay, so you did. I really see. I never knew any of this. I don't know you that well. It's very
I
interesting.
don't tell people
You
because
well, it's interesting. It really is because, first of all, you keep going to school. That's interesting, right there.
I've got so many certificates for so many things, Myrna. You couldn't. It's. I was amazed when I started pulling them out. You know, it's crazy.
But you did it. I
I've
mean,
done lots of things. I'm not
I
impressed.
know, but that's good because that's what makes the person. You, I
I
mean,
was already the person.
but you can talk about just about anything, which is great. You know, because certain things just being around all this stuff, including your education.
But lots of people think that they know everything, and
I
so I
know.
just let them talk. Okay.
I know.
I
I
don't
know.
have to. I don't have to put anything in. You know it. Fine. That's good.
Yeah, really. But it's interesting now that we're actually talking to me that you keep going and bettering yourself to get a job or do what you want or whatever it is.
To
It's
do what
great.
I want. I don't jobs. My friends don't understand why I don't want a job. Jobs aren't going to get me anywhere. But music, getting a job doing music, that'll get me someplace.
Well,
Yeah.
don't plan on it.
No, well, you don't understand my level of expectation.
Okay. All right. But what about Bob? Did you know Bob Santano at all?
No.
He was a Barry saxophone player. Everybody and most people knew him, and he had a big band, and I sang with it. He actually got me my charts from Bobby Ojeda, and he
Mm.
gave blah, blah, blah. Okay, but Bob was a lot of fun. He was crazy as a loon, and he had a game room downstairs, and I won't go into that because the people that knew him knew it. But he used to say, if you want to kill a club, hire jazz.
Mm.
That's what he said at that time. It might be a little bit better now because some of the young ones think they're listening to jazz and they aren't, but at least they know the word. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So, all right. So we have you going to a dentist and blah, 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 blah. Okay, and you got divorced, and then you lived in your car or whatever. And then you met your second husband,
No.
your third husband.
No. I only had two husbands, but it took years, and then I met my daughter's father.
Oh, I see. Okay. Whose name was George Hughes?
No.
I thought you.
My daughter's father is not George Hughes.
Oh, okay. But so he
George
was.
Hughes is my second husband.
Oh, I see. All right. Whatever. Oh yes, she had quite a life, folks.
Name a place I've been there. Okay.
When did you meet George? Because he's musical, so you had to meet him somehow with that.
Well, after I had my daughter, I decided that I was going to have to go out and, have a life. And so I started going to Alexander's, and they called themselves the Jazz Masters, which was Eddie DeHaas,
Mm-hmm.
Eddie Johnson, Paul
Mm-hmm.
Serrano, John Young, and George Hughes.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would go there, and we would sit around, and we would I made friends with people, and that's how I met George.
That's interesting because I knew Thompson, the piano player. John, what was his name? Piano player.
John Young.
John Young, yeah. He always wore that little hat, you know.
Yeah.
All right, just a quick insert with him. I went to Ravinia in Highland Park to see a jazz band, and I can't remember who it was. Dame, what's her name from England? I
Yeah.
can't. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no. No,
Okay.
what's her name? I can't remember either right
Yeah,
now.
and her husband was Johnny Dankworth.
Hmm.
Okay, so I had given her a pair of earrings, and this was at Mill Run. And then I went backstage, and she said, "Hi, how are you? And thank you so much." And I said, "You're welcome." And we're going to go out. We had seats. So as I'm walking out, I see John Young. Had a little hat on. I said, "Hey, John, how are you?" And he goes, "I'm good. How you doing?" I said, "Fine. We're going to go see the show," and off we went. Do you know who I was talking to?
Who?
John Hendricks. Honest to God, I thought it was John Young.
Well, still, both great musicians.
If I'd have known, I probably would have fainted and gone, I love you," like a typical. You're my favorite. So I'm kind of glad I didn't know. I made a fool
Right,
out of
right.
myself.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, John. I don't think I ever worked with John, but I knew him and Eddie DeHaas and that whole group. So they were at Alexander's downtown there.
Alexander's on 79th and Exchange.
Oh, there. You know what?
What?
Let me think now. Somebody I know owned that. It was a gal that she was Greek,
Yeah. It
and
was
she
a
ended up.
Greek
Yeah,
steakhouse. Yeah.
yes, and she ended up downtown in a condo, and we became friends through other people. And she's the one that owned it. And I remember my aunt, who lived on the south side at that time, going to Alexander's all the time because it was a nice restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
And when you said Alexander's, I'm thinking of that little place on the alley there downtown. But when you said South Side, yes. I mean, I don't know where it was. We moved to Oklahoma by that time,
Wow.
but but I know what you're talking about. And they obviously had music.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did. And then they had people come up and sing.
Hmm.
And I learned a lot about what jazz musicians say to each other hanging at the bar because I love to hang at the bar with jazz musicians. They're hilarious. John was very funny all the time. And I learned that they hate people to come up and sing those little songs everybody always sings. I won't name a song, but you know what I'm talking
Yeah, I
about.
do.
And they just hate it.
And especially at that time, probably women.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And I can understand it because I don't want to hear them sing it wrong either.
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But I worked with George with Milt
Mm-hmm.
downtown in the old Shaperay building down there.
Yeah.
And we'd get, the best part about working in the clubs, basically, is what it is hanging out after.
Mm-hmm.
Hanging. Whether you're hanging there or whether you go to a restaurant, you
Right.
hang. And everyone tells stories and you talk about
Right.
it.
Yeah, that's
And
fun.
it is fun. It's the best part of it as far as
Yes.
I was concerned. Because I
Mm-hmm.
learned a lot doing that as a
Mm-hmm.
younger person. I really didn't know a lot. And I learned. You sit and listen. Some
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you try and tell these young ones blah blah blah, and they don't listen. And it's just trying to help them, little tricks, and they just think they know everything, and that's fine. That's all right.
Well,
Go ahead.
I heard who told this joke. It was John or Paul. One of them said that a famous musician died and went to heaven. Have you heard this one?
I don't know. I never
And
remember till the punchline.
and St. Peter met him at the gate and said, "Man, we've been waiting for you. Miles is looking for you, and Coltrane and Louis and so on. Everybody's looking for you. Only one problem." He said, "What is it?" He said, "God's got a girlfriend that thinks she can sing."
That's really good.
Except I was that girlfriend, you see.
Oh, I see.
I was that girlfriend.
Did you sit in with him?
Oh, I did a couple of times, but they told me that I sang like that I heard somebody else sing. I like it. I wasn't singing expressing from myself. I was singing what I heard other people sing it the way they sang it.
I
And so
understand. I
they
understand.
so they're very critical back there, my family and stuff. If you don't sing right, quotation marks, it's not worth it. So I stopped singing from, out like that. And besides, George didn't want another person, you know what I'm saying, in the business. You know what I'm saying.
I sure do.
Hmm.
I sure do.
Milt said he offered me a job.
I bet he did because he must. Milt knew the singers that would work in his club. He did everything he did was the same all the time.
Yeah, I know.
But everybody loved it. You know
Hmm.
what I mean? And it
Hmm.
worked. Actually, and I was in his genre. See, it's not really jazz, it's more saloon kind of stuff, shows
Hmm.
kind of stuff. And I was in his genre, so we made it was good when we were together because we do a duet at the end. But he had some good singers working for him, a Gloria Morgan and can I think of her name, a white chick. Anyway, the singers that work.
Catherine Whitney. Yeah.
No, actually, all right, I shouldn't say that. I
Excuse
know
me.
Catherine. I know Catherine.
I like the way she sings.
She's a good gal.
Mm.
Maybe not my cup of tea,
Okie dokie.
but that's no big. I'm probably not her cup of tea either because I'm not really jazz. I'm more of a saloon show kind of singer. I mean, I can scat a little bit, but I don't consider myself a jazz singer. You are.
Anyway, George didn't want me to do that. So
And he
that's
said
why
that, right?
he didn't say it to my
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
So I had to learn that I had a place, and that wasn't it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Yeah, I do.
It's not unfortunate. It's just.
Well, it kind of is because you could have been singing then.
I could have been singing so all my life, out there, but um, it is what it is, and so it was for good. It was good for me. It had to be good for me because it didn't happen then. If it happens
Yeah,
now,
I know what you mean. I kind of know what you mean. Here's what's going to happen right now. I want to take a little break,
okay,
and we'll come back in a minute, and I'm going to do my sponsor, and then we'll continue on.
okay.
All right, just a minute.